Hi guys, welcome back for another one. Today's roster review is by a good friend of mine, the Info Dealer. He just recently passed 800 days in the game and he's looking for some Doom Raid advice with his roster. So Maverick, are you ready to dig into Info Dealer?
Let's do it.
Alright guys, with that said, sit back, relax, and let's get into it. Alright, so the Info Dealer has reached out to Maverick and I. He's looking for Doom Raid advice. I did give him a little bit of advice on Twitch, so I'm going to limit my comments on this video and let Maverick really take the wheel at this one. And then we're going to dig into ward defense. We did get a screenshot of his ward defense. We're going to be able to look at his roster. And at the end here, we're going to see if we can give him a tip or two when it comes to ward defense to help him out. So, Maverick, you ready to get going here?
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
All right, let's switch to MSF.gg. Like we do every week when we do Doom Raids, we're going to follow this in alphabetical order, starting with the bio trait. So, obviously, he's already got the symbiotes highlighted. Anything else you would recommend for him here with the bio lane?
So, I mean, first of all, looking at it, normally when I run symbiotes, I run a two-striker setup.
Okay.
Where I have both Anti-Venom and Scream as strikers.
Okay.
And he's got only the one striker.
Okay.
So there's a little bit less in terms of clearing buffs. But the fact that he's got all 5 symbiotes all the way up is decent-ish. But as we've already kind of seen, bio has become one of the harder things to slog your way through, especially in Doom 1.1, and the symbiotes just don't have enough damage to really sustain in there, which is why you see a lot of people dropping Venom and bringing in Phyla-Vell, which doesn't look like he's, I mean, he's got 4 red stars on Phyla-Vell. I mean, that's a character that I think is pretty future-proof, at least for the next 6 months, in terms of bringing up, because Infinity Watch is a fantastic team. Not just for arena, but also for war offense or war defense if you need to go that direction.
Yeah.
And, you know, she's got the Kree tag, so she's actually one of the few newer characters that's actually useful in the Gamma raids. So, you know, that's a safer character to invest in, and then one that you can actually use in the Doom raids. She cleans the buffs. She's got one of the highest damage stats in the entire game, so she can actually help you take out some of these characters. So I would do that. I mean, if he had Black Bolt built up more, I would say use Black Bolt maybe, but like I wouldn't tell him now you need to build up your Black Bolt.
All right.
If that makes sense. Like what he's got is good for what he is aiming to do it, at least currently, until Scopel next, releases a new character or characters for the BIOS section.
Yeah. All right. So with bio out of the way, let's get into Mutant. Mutant is where I pretty much I kind of picked this apart on Twitch stream, where he's just missing, like there's 2 separate teams you could possibly build, and he's just missing the parts to both of them.
Well, I mean, he's got he's in decent-ish shape, but like you said, he's going in 2 different directions simultaneously, which it makes sense when you consider the fact that he isn't in the Doom raids yet.
Yeah.
And realistically speaking, depending on which lane that he picks, this may or may not be an issue. If you're on the right side and are working with multiple lane partners, you might not need to use your mutant team at all, and they may need you further down the lane. If you're in the middle section, like you and I are both in, you know, having a really strong, astonishing X-Men team, at least for the foreseeable future, is going to be the key. Until, possibly in Doom 1.0, the mutant boss, you need that to be one shot. As X-Men can do it at a really high level, or you can do what I do, which is Emma, Sinister, Longshot, and Shatterstar with either Bishop or Jubilee as the 5th. Or some people use Phoenix as the 5th there to one-shot the mutant boss, where you clone the Longshot and then just let the dad bros kill everyone on auto. So, I mean, he's got in both directions. If he has the ability to build up both the Dad Bros, Beast, and Bishop, I would say to go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
In Doom 1.0, I run a hybrid team of the Dad Bros, Beast, Jubilee, and Bishop. For the most of it, and then you flop over to the Emma Frost, Mr. Sinister version for the mutant boss. But like, I think his Dad Bros are in decent shape right now. I wouldn't necessarily run and put more into them, but definitely Bishop is going to be a safer investment in the game. And then, Beast, if you just put ISO on him and then maybe bring him up a little bit as needed if he starts to fall off, just so that you have the option of using him in the Doom raids.
Yeah. The one thing that I've seen with his roster since like I said, I reviewed this on Twitch over the weekend, is you start to see, you didn't really see it with Bio, but you start to see it here, is that the important characters, especially the damage dealing characters, he is missing red stars on. You just look at Longshot and Bishop in this case. And you're going to see this as more of a pattern with some of his other characters. We get some other the traits is that it seems like the important characters that actually need the red stars are missing them, and the characters that he has the red stars on are ones that you technically, I mean, it's always good to have more red stars, but you technically don't need them. Like, you rather flip places between Bishop and Kitty Pryde, right? You'd rather have Bishop with the 5 and Kitty Pryde with the 4.
Yes, no, absolutely.
So, all right. So, Mutant out of the way. I just want to cover that right now because we're going to see more of that here coming up. Let's jump into Mystic, which is getting an overhaul. Info Dealer is a light spender, but he says he hasn't really spent on the game. Like, he might have spent here and there for a battle pass or a strike pass, but he hasn't really spent on the game since Black Order. So I don't know where the Cloak and Dagger are going to fall for him on this one, but you can already see what he's working with here.
Yeah, I mean, Doom, you're always going to bring in. It's the Doom raid. Like, you bring in Doom. Like, it makes too much sense not to. He's got the pieces for what the original basic 5 were for the Doom raid, and Thanos and Maw and Hela and Surfer and Doom.
Yeah.
The fact that he's building up Deathpool is great. I think Deathpool is going to, I mean, it's built for the Doom raids, and so she's going to be the long-term answer. And, if he can, in using your methods, get a 4 or 5-star Deathpool through the event campaign that's still currently running, then she's going to need to be an essential part of that team, because you just build up her charges. And then on the boss, you can one-shot Doom with the Deathpool the way she is right now. I mean, that Deathpool is going to do over 2 million damage with fully charged up on her ultimate. And that's going to be the end of any character in the game. You delete Doom and you make everything a lot easier for you and your lane mates.
Yep.
So I like, Surfer could use more shards, sure. Thanos is starting to move his way out. Maw is starting to move his way out. But the only other piece that I would consider bringing up theoretically for this is Adam Warlock. It's pretty much the same as we talked about with Bio and Phyla-Vell. I mean, Infinity Watch is still such a good team. And you can use Adam Warlock. His kit is very good, especially. I just recently tried Doom 1.1 and it didn't work out so well. But in Doom 1.0, which it seems like he would be at for a while, running both Thanos and Deathpool together sends out so much energy that Adam Warlock and Silver Surfer can use their kit-based ability blocks and stuns and all that sort of stuff much more frequently.
Okay.
So that really, really can help control your match, because they're constantly spreading energy to the entire team. So what I would build towards personally, and what I currently run, is Thanos, Doom, Deathpool, Surfer, and Adam Warlock. And then you use Ebony Maw as needed to kind of risk a little bit more sustain.
Okay. All right, that's good enough. Let's move on to the next trait. We're going to skill, and wow. Trying to remember what I said to him on Twitch over this, but when I'm seeing this secret, obviously we're looking for secret Avengers every time we come here. Sharon Carter already up. And Sam Wilson, only level 60. And Maria Hill. Where are you, Maria Hill?
She's over there. But he's already got the ISO already built up.
Yeah, he already has the ISO into him, yep.
So, I mean, they're instantly going to be ready to go whenever his alliance actually starts Doom raids. And that's exactly where I would throw all of my resources in first.
Yeah.
I mean, bring them up to orange gear, put them with Kestrel and whoever else you feel like. Yeah. That 7 red Gamora works for me.
Yeah.
She's 7 red as a 5th. That's totally perfect. I would run Secret Avengers and Kestrel and that Gamora. And he's got a little bit of time. I wouldn't worry about Nick Fury like some people do, just because, you know, that Gamora will do everything that the Nick Fury would do, which is just stand there, take a bunch of hits, and tap out for some Kestrel pings. Again, as I just keep telling people, you know, Moondragon's still going to be useful and good for a long time. It's not necessarily for the Doom raids, but Infinity Watch is still the top team in the game. You're not going to hurt yourself by investing in her.
Yeah. One thing before we move on to our very last trait here, I was trying to be time conscious and I forgot about the one thing I wanted to bring up. The Surfer situation. He's in an alliance where they're still running Ultimus raids. They're not in the Doom raids. He's a very alliance is very spread out power wise, where they're not like, you know, even though he could take on, even though he's at a power level that should be doing Doom raids, his alliance is not there because his collection power is better than over 50% of his alliance by millions. And Nim not doing Doom raids actually hurt him and probably having a 5-star Surfer at this point, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I would imagine that he's gonna just from looking at it, he probably will hit 4 stars, and a 4/4 Surfer. Yeah, it's gonna do a lot. We've seen a 4/4 Surfer be very successful in Dark Dimension 4. Yeah. So I can't imagine that a 4/4 Surfer is not going to be very viable and sustain in the Doom raids, especially Doom 1.0. Yeah. Now, how does that translate when he's going deeper into the game? That's still uncertain, but we don't know how Surfer Shards are going to be given out once the raid milestone seasons end for him. So, you know, I think he's in decent spot right now, and as long as he can get up to a 4-star on Surfer, I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, and he's still got Surfer is in the milestone for at least another 2.5 months. Middle of November is when he comes out.
So I don't see any issues with him. Yep. At least getting Surfer to a 4/4 level.
Okay. All right. And then last but not least, the last trait here is tech. He's got a lot of the pieces that I currently use. The only thing, what is missing here? Something's missing. Oh, the one thing that I use and he does not build up, and I don't even know if it's even necessary, is Shuri. I use Shuri instead of Minerva with his other top 5. So what are your thoughts here?
I use his top 5. And,
you use exactly top 5.
You know, but I mean, you and I both run in this section where we're not running the tech main boss, so it's a little bit harder to tell. But you know, this is a section that they're going to eventually sell a 3-piece, and it's going to be whatever that 3-piece is, Doom and Kestrel. So I wouldn't worry about tech right now. I think he's got the pieces to cover. You know, at least, you know, sharing a lane with somebody. Moving forward in the Doom raids if he wanted to. I always mention Misty Knight is having a really good kit for Doom raids. If that's a character that you somehow happen to get great stars on or get a good red star pull for, but like not a priority. And then Nebula again. Nebula is a Infinity Watch team member and best team in the game. You can use her. She is viable in Doom raids. Wouldn't bring her up specifically for Doom raids. But if you're bringing her up for Infinity Watch, it's not going to hurt.
Yeah, you got a nice 6 red on her. All right.
Yeah.
All right, but hopefully you enjoyed that review, and hopefully you guys at home enjoyed that review. Now, we're going to go and take a look at his ward defense. We're not going to show that on camera just because we don't want to expose what his ward defense is. We're going to take a quick look at it, and we're going to come back and see if we can offer him a tip or two. But if you guys are interested in getting your own roster review, check out the following clip. Are you interested in having your roster reviewed by Maverick and I in this quick format roster review, helping you out in a game mode or two? If you are, all you need to do is join my Discord. The link to that is in the description down below. Then all you need to do is find the video section, find roster reviews, and there you'll find the latest roster review application where you can submit your request to have your roster reviewed by Maverick and I in a YouTube format. So if you need help clearing any content in the game, don't hesitate, apply today. Alright, so we've had a chance to take a look at his defense. I'm not going to give my opinion on it as I'm not a big war-focused content creator. I've said this a billion times, but Maverick is a little bit more in tune with war than I am. So Maverick, we took a look at it. What are some takeaways that you could possibly give him as a tip or trick for his war defense?
Yeah, so I mean, you and I have had lots of conversations about war, and the first thing that Scopely basically makes you do on war defense is you put in all the teams that have the war defense tags, your MM Marauders, your Heroes for Hire, et cetera, et cetera. At a low level Plat 1, he might have a big Red Skull Hydra team that would be a kind of an issue that he could put in there. And then after that point, to me, it's more of an offensively minded battle. And so you're looking at, do I have 8, 9, 10 war offense teams that get me everything that I need to do and can take on all the teams that I see in war? And at that point, I see what is left and what can I use to build war defense teams around that. So, like, if he is getting everything done offensively he needs to get done, and he's not using Ultron, or if Ultron is just like a luxury, maybe you build a war defense team around Ultron. Or, I see a lot of really big random Pimtech teams, because Pimtech's not a great war offense team, but they can be really annoying, and people can misplay it, and you toss that on there. If he has the ability to spare Doom and does not have to worry about using Doom to clear content offensively, Doom is a fantastic character to build a team around. I've seen, especially at his level, you could put out Brotherhood 2.0 with Juggernaut and Blob and Magneto and make that really annoying. Because at his level, we've even seen a lot of the people that he's facing might not have the proper X Factor counter for that, or the uncanny X-Men with Doom. It just kind of all depends, on what he's doing offensively, what his needs are, and what he has left over, and what he can kind of spare.
Yeah.
That Doc Ock with a bunch of trash Sinister Six allies, as long as he's got, Swarm and Electro and Mysterio on the team, that can throw people off and force people to have to double tap it because they take a team and they just look at the overall TCP and not look at the fact that they don't have enough damage to take out the Doc Ock with all the healing and all that sort of stuff, or they time out. You just want to do whatever you can to get a defensive win by any means necessary, and an unbalanced team like that would do really well as well.
All right, that was some good tips there. So you guys don't know, there is like two different wars in this game, right? There's the lower level wars where it's about who can score the highest, and then sometimes it comes down to who can stonewall their opponents. And then the high end wars is all about full clear and racing to that full clear. I think Maverick, you and I are in that boat where it's a full clear race, as where Info Dealers Alliance is more into who can score the most points, and getting defensive wins and stonewalling your opponents in his war is highly effective. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, and he's going to start to transition out of that a little bit. But based off of his alliance construction, they're probably not going to get into the super high competitive version of Alliance War anytime soon. So he's got a little bit more time to refine it.
Yeah.
But with his roster the way that it is, I would just be cognizant of trends in high level wars so that you can adapt to those and help take advantage of some of those things. A decent Shang-Chi at this level is going to be a better Stonewall than his 750k Black Order, quite honestly, because that's going to be a harder nut to crack. Infinity Watch is having to punch down, and even that's not always successful. Whereas an unbroken Infinity Watch with Ultron can punch up 300k plus on Black Order.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So be cognizant of those forward-thinking trends in Alliance War at the high-end levels, and take advantage of those for your lower-level wars. but don't feel like you have to invest a whole lot in war defense. It's the very last thing I would recommend anybody working on in this game.
All right, and with that said, guys, that's where we're going to end it. So thank you, Maverick, for your time this week in doing these roster reviews. Hopefully you guys at home enjoyed them, and if you did, do us a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button. If you're new here and haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye.